This AI-only social media app just hit #1 on the App Store, and none of this is real.
OpenAI just launched something that is shaking up the stock market.
So much so that Wall Street has wiped $20 billion off of social media stocks since its launch.
The reason?
You can now put your actual face and voice into AI-generated videos. Your friends can use your likeness in their content, and you control who has permission.
Oh, man.
That was wild.
Seriously.
This is Sora 2.
It's OpenAI's answer to TikTok, except everything on the platform is AI generated.
Now, I've been playing with the app for the last couple days, and I gotta tell you, they built something Meta, Google, and TikTok missed. And because they're pissing off
Hollywood, there's no in-between. This is either the future of social media or their most expensive mistake. Here's why it matters.
On Tuesday, OpenAI launched two things simultaneously: their next generation video model, called Sora 2, and an iOS app to use it. The model itself is a decent upgrade. You've got longer generation length, you can do synchronized audio, you've got better physics, and yeah, you can make some pretty amazing things with it. The app is where it gets really interesting. It's currently invite only on iOS in the US and Canada, and it looks exactly like TikTok. You know, you've got this vertical video feed, you swipe to scroll, you've got algorithmic recommendations, with one massive difference. Everything on this platform is AI generated, with social collaboration baked in. And the result, it's your social graph manifested as videos doing impossible things. I mean, it is like interdimensional cable TV in the best possible way. Here's my buddy Don and RPN contemplating if they are in the simulation, and I made him do this.
I think maybe all of this is just running on somebody's hard drive somewhere.
Like a simulation?
Exactly, and not the base one either. Could be layers on layers.
How deep do you think we are?
3 and 4, just deep enough that the glitches look like that.
Here I asked what would happen if Sam turned on ASI for the first time.
All right, first boot. Who am I?
Admin.
That's what I hoped you'd say.
It's too much fun, right? To me, the social remixing with your face and the faces of your friends and your friends of friends is the killer feature. I mean, even people inside OpenAI are saying like they're making new friends at the company, making these kind of duets, these collaborations. All right, so here's how it works. Basically, you record a short video clip inside the application. They're going to have you read a rotating set of numbers and then make you move your head left, right, up, down, whatever they make you do so that you can't just spoof this with any other deepfake generator. Once you do that, you can basically choose permissions. Is it only you that can use your avatar? Is it mutuals? Is it everyone? Is it specific people that you approve? You can set your pronouns. And then very, very cool, you can set Cameo preferences. So if you always want to show up in a certain attire, wearing certain accessories, you can absolutely customize that. So it's like wearing a dark brown turtleneck with a dark gray jacket, let's say Speedmaster watch, and sunglasses. And that is literally it. Now you've created what they call a cameo of yourself, and now you can drop yourself into any kind of generation. And so here's me with exactly those custom instructions. You can see me with the suit jacket, you've got the dark brown turtleneck, and it even has the watch. Do explainer videos, like very complicated multi-shot creations. And this will give you a sense of how good the likeness is. I mean, it's not perfect, but oh my God, the fact that this is from a 10 to 15 second clip, absolutely amazing. But here's the genius part. And this is where the social aspect kicks in. Based on those permissions that you've set, everyone else has done this too. So you have a bunch of cameos at your disposal. All the people that you're either mutuals with or that have set their cameo to public, you can go about creating generations with them. So if you want to end up in generation with some celebrities, you could go ahead and do that. If you want to explore underground bases with Jake Paul, you could do that. Want to have Sam Altman riddling bullets?
With the rooftop crazy, coding in the morning.
You could do that too.
Night, got my vision in the cloud, keep my sneakers in the light. Gucci drip into the socks, feeling mega proper, baby.
The smile.
The
Smile gets me every time. Even cooler, every time somebody makes a generation with your likeness, you are notified. Even if it's in their drafts, you can go see all of the generations people are making, which is really, really cool. So if you don't like anything, you can go about deleting it very, very easily. Now, this is cool, right? It creates this completely new form of social interaction. Yes, we've been able to make deepfakes of ourselves using tools like HeyGen and a crazy comfy UI workflow, whatever is your flavor, simple or difficult. But now you've got this social collaborative element. That's amazing. And just like duets, you can take existing videos and modify them too. So you see this little icon over here. This is basically the remix
You ever had
icon.
a dream that you could do so you want to do so much you could do anything.
So that's amazing. Steve figured out a cool
You ever
base
had a dream
format.
that
And then, of
you,
course, Blazane comes in and takes it to the next level.
Have you ever had a dream that you have you ever had a dream that you
Suddenly, it's like Photoshop tennis. It's like the duet feature in TikTok, right? You can keep adding yourself and iterating with the community while seeing how things progressed. It's amazing. Very simple formula, but amazing with these primitives added into it. Now, what's cool is OpenAI tested this internally with employees, and the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. Folks said that it felt like a natural evolution of communication. You're going from like text messages to emojis to voice notes to real videos to this generative video. So beyond the controls that I mentioned about who can use your Cameo, the verification process for you to make a Cameo in the first place, they're doing other things too. Beyond the Sora watermark that you see in all the videos, which obviously is easy to remove, there is an internal detection system that can look for these very hidden signatures in each of the videos to know if it originated from Sora. They're also working with the C2PA. Now, are all these methods perfect? No, but it is a very robust safety stack compared to anything else that we've seen on the social side, especially open source ones where you could go and generate anything you want. Now, you'd think identity verification, consent management, the notification system, this would be an infrastructure that Meta would be really good at, but they just didn't do it. Which brings me to my next point. We've got quality generation, we've got social remixing, but there's another piece to this. Last week, literally 1 week before Sora 2 launched, Meta released something called Vibes in their Meta AI app. Basically, it's an AI-generated feed, very similar, swipeable, short-form video. You can use essentially Flux and Midjourney under the hood to do these generations. Swipeable. You can remix stuff if you like it. As TechCrunch put it, it all feels like mindless slop. So it almost feels like Meta tried to get to market first, but they shift something half-baked or something that lacked the real reason you'd want to come to this application. Now, essentially, we've got two classes of tools, right? Like if you think about it, you've traditionally had consumer tools that were really fast, but they look like trash. Like you could immediately tell it was AI generated. And that's kind of the bucket that the Meta AI app currently is. And even though they're using some really cool models out there, that's not as good as VO3 quality, right? And on the other hand, you've got professional tools like Flow by Google, which uses their VO3 model that can create amazing cinematic quality video, right? But it's aimed at higher end users, like at least prosumer users and above, filmmakers, production studios, enterprise folks. Now, Google is taking a different approach, bringing essentially VO3 quality generation inside the YouTube application. So inside the shorts creation flow, you can use this AI generator and make some pretty cool things, right? You can add motion, you can stylize your video, you can add objects, but it's additive. It's essentially a feature like CapCut, right? Or TikTok to the existing video creation flow. Fully AI generated content, I mean, let's be honest, like that's not something that stands out in a feed of like really well generated content that YouTube has, right? Like people are putting a lot of effort into winning the short form race. And of course, you've got other players like Runway and Luma with Array 2. And again, they're tools. They are not social platforms. No wonder Snap stock dropped like 7%. In my opinion, OpenAI did something nobody else managed by nailing three things at once. Number one, they've got a consumer first interface, like Meta Vibes attempted. Number two, they've got production grade output, basically Google VO3 quality. And number three, they've got social collaboration built in. It's made to create with the friends, not just for them. That's what YouTube does, right? It's for creating for the YouTube audience, right? So this is why all of those stocks dropped, right? Like Wall Street sees what OpenAI built. Now, I've told you why this could work, but there are some massive problems that OpenAI is about to face. And these could kill this before it even gets started. OpenAI has basically started a copyright war. This headline says it all. Essentially, they're using what is called an opt-out model for copyrighted content. Here's what that means. Unless movie studios, talent agencies, and creators actively tell OpenAI, please don't use our content, and individually opt out each of their IPs, Sora 2 can generate videos that reference their intellectual property. They're basically saying, hey, we're going to train on absolutely everything unless you painstakingly tell us exactly what not to train on. And here's the kicker. OpenAI won't accept blanket opt-outs. So if you're a studio, right, that owns, let's say, 100 different franchises, you can't just opt them out at once. You have to monitor for violations and report them individually. So in practice, this means if you want to go generate copyrighted content for the moment, you could do a lot of different things. You want to show up like a Marvel superhero. You want to show up like Cortana and friggin' Master Chief. I mean, Simpsons. Lord of the Rings doing the what's that trope. Oh my God. Oh Lord. In fact, I had a blast having Rick and Morty explain 3D Gaussian splatting.
Okay, Morty, check it out. I'm about to blow what's left of your impressionable little mind. 3D Gaussian splatting. Instead of grinding through a neural field or meshing every polygon like a sucker, we toss the scene into a cloud of tiny light-soaked ellipsoids. The GPU just spring. Okay, Morty,
amazing.
check it out.
So currently, I'm reliving my childhood, making all these cartoons from Nickelodeon. Now, how long this will last is anyone's guess. You best believe the lawsuits are coming. Hollywood Reporter called this the most aggressive move in AI history, and they're right. Hollywood is not going to let this slide. So the other problem is essentially the AI slop dilemma, right? Like this is the paradox. You lower the barrier to creation, right? Which means everyone can create. And let's be honest, most people are not creative. That means there's going to be a bunch of terrible content flooding the internet. It already is. We've seen this time and time again with a bunch of SEO slop that's been like inundating Google search. We're also starting to see this on long-form platforms like YouTube with all these like robo-created videos. We'll have another class of creation that, Reddit calls like shrimp Jesus videos. Like there are these weird uncanny valley creations that get a lot of engagement, but maybe don't have as much artistic merit as a real artist that might want to go create something. So this glut of AI-generated content is going to come from consumers and content farms, and suddenly it's going to become impossible to sift between quality and garbage content. Of course, the solution to all of this is, again, going to be AI, but there's also going to be this flattening effect, right? Where as you raise the floor, you're also raising the ceiling. It's going to get much harder to have interesting voices break out because they're going to be drowned out by all this algorithmic similarity. Now, OpenAI is aware of this, and they published something called the Sora feed philosophy that you see over here, where sort of the idea is that they're not going to create this like reinforcement learning slop machine where the goal is basically to optimize engagement. They say they're optimizing for creativity, putting users in control, prioritizing connection. Again, you want to see people in your feed that you actually know that are in your social graph, and balance safety and freedom. I think this is sort of the guise under which they're saying is like, hey, if people want to create content of whatever IP, they should be able to do that. Their model should be able to learn from it. That's the freedom aspect, right? And if you look at countries like Japan, they have ruled basically that you can train on copyrighted material, and that is totally fair game. The jury's still out for how that's going to happen in the US. Now, you might be wondering, hey, like OpenAI doesn't have like millions of users right now. They maybe have a couple 100,000, Not even that probably at this point in early access. So how are they going to create a really good feed? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Of course, they're looking at your activity on the Sora platform, but they are also using your ChatGPT data. And you'll notice this when you go make your avatar or whatever, you're going to ask, say, hey, what is it like being me? When you ask that question to yourself or any other generation, you'll notice the answer is actually very personalized in response because it's pulling from ChatGPT data. So the fact that OpenAI's own CEO is publicly acknowledging these risks is a good sign. But let's see how this holds up as the pressure for monetization builds. Right now, they're trying to build a social app, right? That's their goal, first and foremost. They're trying to learn what happened with the Google Gemini moment, right? With Nano Banana propelling Google Gemini to the #1 spot on the App Store ahead of ChatGPT. They're trying to take the crown back. Oh, and by the way, in case you missed it, be sure to check out my interview with the Nano Banana creators, the researchers, and all the cool stuff that they're saying that we're not actually doing with the app, even though we should be. Now, the cool part about the Sora experience is that discovery of what are the cool things you can do with this model is baked into the feed. I don't have to go to Twitter, Instagram, random subreddits to figure out what the cool things are to do. And then I'm one click away from remixing it. Now, despite all of this, changing behavior is hard. Like TikTok has 150 million users in the US, right? Well over a billion globally. Instagram Reels is even bigger than that. YouTube Shorts gets billions of views a day. Now, Morgan Stanley put it bluntly, changing the behavior of hundreds of millions of people is difficult. And in the case of Meta, Google, etc., we're talking about billions of people is even more so. ChatGPT changed search behavior, but that was adding something new. This is asking people to replace something they already love, the apps they like to go to every single day, where they're giving their attention right now. So even with superior technology, even with crazy innovative features, getting people to switch to platforms is incredibly hard. But look, all of these big tech giants have massive AI teams. So that's why the analyst consensus is that smaller platforms, right, that don't have massive AI teams like Snap, Reddit, Pinterest, they're going to have a hard time competing. That's why all of these smaller tech stocks fell. So while Snap stock dropped over 9% on the day of the release, Meta stock only dropped 1.3%. But replacing TikTok, now that is a generational challenge. All right, so let's bring this home. OpenAI is rolling this out in phases. Right now, it's invite only, an iOS app in the US and Canada. Coming soon, there's going to be an Android version with broader access. And then within weeks, we can expect to see API access to third-party developers for the Sora 2 model. As you can imagine, right now, Sora 2 is highly optimized to quickly generate something and share it on social media. They haven't cranked all the dials to compete with a VO3 use case. So a head-to-head comparison right now, like many other channels are doing, doesn't even make sense. What's clear is since an API offering is coming, it's going to be integrated into all the various platforms, the video editing platforms, marketing tools that you use, game development. I'm sure Adobe Firefly is going to integrate it, Krea, FreePick, all of these tools. But let's be honest, the timing here is not accidental. TikTok is facing regulatory scrutiny in the US and Europe. This uncertainty around TikTok's future creates an opening. If TikTok gets restricted or banned, where do those 150 million US users go? Instagram Reels? YouTube Shorts? Or maybe this is the right time for them to install an AI native platform that feels like TikTok, but is built by an American company. Now, Meta fumbled already creating the AI Slop app. Luckily, they still got Instagram, so hey, I'm not crying for Zuckerberg just yet. YouTube has a massive platform, but AI is just a feature. That's not the main course. So my prediction is, depending on how OpenAI's experiment goes, you might see a standalone application coming from Google as well. I mean, Meta's already doing it. And if it drives engagement, hey, maybe there'll be a feed in the Gemini app itself. Who knows? But make no mistake, this isn't a sideshow. This is the next platform war playing out in real time. So what do you think? Could an AI-only social platform actually work? Let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you in this next video, my interview with the researchers behind the super viral sensation Nano Banana.